So I'll admit, I feel like I've fallen for a clickbaity title. As I've mentioned before, I mean I watch a lot of Marquez's videos, so even if it's about something I'm not in particularly interested in, uh, it's still usually pretty interesting stuff. And his content delivery is good, and of course because of the size of his platform, he's able to do and get exposed to things that a lot of smaller YouTubers just aren't able to do. So he's not in his dorm room right now and talking about cell phones or computers. He's out with a electric pickup truck. Now, the title Ford F-150 Lightning is the iPhone of pickup trucks. I don't know what that means, and of course that's what I'm going to find out while I'm watching the video. But before I go any further, I have to at least think. Okay, what is the iPhone of iPhones? It's a phone that Apple makes. It's a pretty good device. I mean, I have my gripes with it, but it's still a phone in an industry that really only consists of two options. So you have iPhone and Android. Cool. All right. Of course, that was kind of a stupid comparison, but it is. Hey, it's the iPhone of iPhones is iPhone. Now, some might want to say, well, it's a specific model. That's up for debate, but whatever. Then, of course, you'll get the titles of, well, it's the iPhone of Androids. Sometimes that title is reserved for different Samsung devices. I feel like somebody has made that potential claim for the new Nothing phone, but even then, it's still an easily understandable comparison of okay, and in a world where we only have two choices, Android or iPhone, which even the way it's said, it's still kind of a misnomer. So Android and iOS, this particular Android device is the best of what Android has to offer. Cool. But when you start expanding that same type of comparison out into a vastly different industry, I'm curious as to what does he mean? Is it the best electric pickup truck that Ford makes? Is it the best electric truck, period? Is it the best pickup truck, period? And I think I did justice right there of just going from the smallest subset to the largest possible set in terms of pickup trucks. And I might have missed one in there at some point in whether it's the best American-made electric pickup truck. I mean, we could have gotten real specific in there, but yeah, I'm curious, and I definitely fell for the title. I at one point wanted a pickup truck, and this was before gas prices shot up. But I'm old enough to have lived through a few times where prices have gone quite high and then back down again and then quite back high. So this is the highest I've ever seen them. I think this is the highest they've ever been. But yeah, a combustion engine pickup truck is not something I have any interest in ever owning. Probably an electric one, maybe. But I honestly am a fan of smaller cars. And part of that right now is for fuel economy reasons. But also, I'm just a single guy. I don't need a bunch of space. I am not frequently towing or carrying things. So the desire to have a bunch of extra space and as such with a particular pickup truck doesn't really, it's just not there. And I think I'm just going to stop rambling right now, and I'm going to go ahead and press play.
The F-150 Lightning is the iPhone of pickup trucks. Like, it's not new. We've had pickup trucks before, but this is the first very clearly in a new generation that will all be different. And so, Lightning, also Lightning. So.
And since he went ahead and made that little pun, is the pickup truck going to have a proprietary charging port?
Yeah. Okay, so if you've ever driven around the United States and just looked for more than a few seconds, you will find it impossible not to notice that there are Ford F-150s everywhere. And it's not just on construction sites, it's on the roads, it's at grocery stores, it's taking the kids to school. It has been the most popular vehicle, not the most popular truck, the best-selling vehicle in America for the past 30 plus years in a row, and it shows. And so that's exactly why the F-150 Lightning is a really big deal, especially for Ford. It's kind of like, you probably know someone like this, people who...
Yeah, before it goes into further explanations, yeah, this is just about pickup trucks in general. Look how close it is to touching the garage door. In fact, and it might be touching it, and maybe that's why it's only halfway in, halfway. I really don't know, but yeah, these vehicles have just gotten too big. And I've talked to coworkers. I spent some time living in Texas. Talked to coworkers while I was living there, and I just asked like, "Why do you have a pickup truck?" And it's like, "Well, everybody else has one." And like, it's not a matter of utility. It's not always a matter of space needed. It's just, well, somebody else has one, so I need to get one. Then I need to get it lifted, and I need to make sure I can see over everybody. So it's, I forget the term, but it's just, yeah, I'm getting one only because you get one. And then it leads to just a world of everybody having pickup trucks unnecessarily. You're free to own whatever type of pickup truck or whatever type of vehicle you want, but it just turns into these vehicles are way too big, take up too much space. Right now, I'm sure a lot of people are feeling that they burn way too much gas, and yeah, I think it's just completely unnecessary for a lot of folks. But that's just my personal opinion. And yeah, clearly the opinion of a lot of other people is we need pickup trucks.
have older iPhones who are not really considering getting any other phone other than a new iPhone. Don't really know which new iPhone, but eventually they will upgrade to one of the newer iPhones. It might not be you and I, but there's a lot of people just like that here with their Ford trucks. So I've been driving and living with the all-electric F-150 Lightning for a couple days now, enjoying its tons of features, living in a world of an electric pickup truck, and I am very impressed. But it's not me they have to impress.
Look at it. I mean, that is, I mean, the horsepower, the torque, whatever. I guess they have a non-extended range battery, dual motor, so that's good. Platinum trim, whatever. Single speed transmission, and I'm sure he's going to show us the 0 to 60 speed at some point. But $90,000. I mean, like that's out of reach for a lot of people. And as he's describing those people with pickup trucks, some of them, spend a pretty penny, but I can imagine some of them probably didn't, whether it was they bought a used one or they've had one for quite a while when just the overall prices of vehicles was a lot lower. And if they're like $90,000, no, thank you. I'm going to, if gas is still an option, I'm going to continue buying my gasoline vehicle. But yeah, and I always have to give him kudos on his well, I don't know if it's always him or I'm sure he has a team of editors and stuff, but yeah, just this scene right here. I wonder what we're on the camera. I wonder what is it, just another vehicle, another car, another F-150 Lightning? I doubt that. But yeah, just kudos to that. Everything that's on screen, it's always nicely shot.
It's the whole world of F-150 loyalists and pickup truck buyers that are waiting for the next convincing F-150 upgrade before they buy one again. Basically, if the future of cars is electric, then this is one of the most important cars in the world. So in a lot of ways...
And I wonder, this is like, yeah, I wonder, like the way the most important cars in the world or the most important cars in the United States. Because I feel like the iPhone is important in the United States, but it is not important in the world. I don't know how many iPhones are sold outside of the United States. Not going to attempt to make that argument, but if I am remembering, in terms of market share, like Android makes up like 70 to 80% market share worldwide. However, it's like 50% market share in the United States. So outside of this country, would anybody care about the iPhone, or does anybody care about the iPhone? And then outside of this country, not saying that the electrification of vehicles isn't coming and isn't important, because it definitely is, but the electrification of pickup trucks, how important is that outside of the United States?
It doesn't actually matter how this thing drives. Like, I could talk to you all day about driving dynamics, but most people buying a truck like this aren't too concerned with that. But the fact is, it is actually better than a regular F-150 in a couple of ways. One, it's much quieter. You can turn on the propulsion sound, which I haven't, but it's very quiet for a truck. And then 2, it is much smoother. I'm a big fan of the one pedal driving option. A lot of EVs don't have the option. You should always have the option. This gives you that. And so the regenerative braking is pretty smooth. The pedal calibration is pretty smooth. And overall, it drives pretty well. And if you want to kick it in a straight line, you definitely can. This happens to be the first F-150 with independent rear suspension, and that's actually just a result of the way they built the car with the battery pack underneath. But otherwise, it drives the same way as the other F-150s. If you're used to a big truck, it drives like a big truck. If you're used to being high above the road, it's still high above the road. And that's actually important. It's got to feel familiar. It's got to feel like the truck you're used to, and in so many ways, it still does. Just a little better. But clearly, it does not look too out of place on a road. I drive past other F-150s all the time. It looks exactly the same from the outside. If you don't look at the badges, if you don't know what to look for as far as the bar headlights and the bar taillights, yeah, this is very much familiar. And that's a good thing. It's supposed to be.
Yeah, and I'll definitely agree with just about everything he's saying. It looks good. I wouldn't. If somebody gave me one, yeah, I'd drive it and I'd keep it. But yeah, I'm not the particular person that Ford needs to impress with this. I feel like they will. Whenever you can buy them clearly. Excuse me, but given the current state of the world, I don't know how readily available they are. So yeah, everything he's saying, it makes sense. Yeah, people are they're fickle, and then also stuck in their ways. Which I almost feel like are opposites. If you're fickle, you're kind of easy to change, but if you're stuck in your ways, like you can be extremely stubborn. And with the type of vehicles that some people buy, and for pickup truck owners, I feel like they are just a group of the country is okay. These are pickup truck people, and the companies who make pickup trucks, they compete for those individual companies right there because they know you're not going to buy a sedan, you're not going to buy a crossover. You're not going to buy an SUV. You are buying a pickup truck. So yeah, to keep their customers, they need to make sure they do stuff that the customers like, enjoy, and going from a gasoline vehicle to an electric one could be a huge switch for a lot of people. Could even be could take some people's masculinity into question. Oh, you driving an electric car? But yeah, this from the outside, and it even sounds like from a performance standpoint, this is something that current F-150 owners probably would be okay driving. Of course, for me, my question always is, not always, but just when it comes to electric vehicles, is what is the charging situation for this? That is something that is a whole nother conversation. But obviously, if you have a single family home, being able to install whatever charging apparatus that's required to charge the vehicle, yeah, should be fine. If you live in an apartment complex, that might be a little more difficult. If you're renting a house as opposed to owning one, I mean, that'd be something you have to talk to your, you'd have to talk to, yeah, I'd have to, sorry, I was just reading a text message. You'd have to talk to the homeowners about. So, so yeah, I don't know. Anyway, clearly I just got distracted. All right, sorry. I mean, you wouldn't have known.
Need an EV version of a car that's already very well accepted. And Ford did that with the name Mustang, but they really did it with the entire truck here with the F-150. Even if nothing else is different about the F-150 Lightning against the gas F-150 Lightning, the one thing it does have is called the Mega Power Frunk, which will make a lot of sense. If I open it, it beeps for a second to let me know it's going to open, then it opens to reveal 400 liters or 14 cubic feet of enclosed storage, which pickup trucks normally don't have. That's bigger than the trunk of a Toyota Corolla. So it's a real trunk. You can put up to 400 pounds of stuff in here. There is a false floor at the bottom, underneath which you will find space for your charging cable. But even without that, there's plenty of space for bags, grocery shopping. You can fit a full set of golf clubs in here like I've done in the past. But it's also called the Mega Power Frunk because you can kind of just operate, again, work out of the frunk. There's 4 full-size outlets over here, a USB-C port, a USB-A port, or if you just want to use it as a tailgating, but what's the opposite of a tailgate? whatever. Has a cooler, you can fill it with ice, and there's a drain hole in the bottom.
Yeah, so we all have those moments where we get words. Yeah, front gate, tailgate, I don't know.
So this becomes the place where you sort of party out of your truck. It's just multi-purpose in every way.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. I mean, the Mega Power Frunk, I don't know if we have to put a name to anything, but good on them for calling it something, I guess. Yeah, it's that even having that little drain down at the bottom, if you want to have like a cooler, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, it's pretty nice.
Really, the cherry on top is this is the feature that would visually differentiate it and make it obvious that this truck was different from the others. Like this would pull up in a parking lot alongside all the rest of the other trucks there, and no one would bat an eye unless you recognized the badging or the tail light bar or the headlight bar. You wouldn't know, but the second the front truck opens, that's when other truck owners' heads would turn like, wait, that's not the same thing as the truck I have. So that is the main fun part of the Lightning's Mega Power Frunk. You can also fit a human body in it. So I could point out the work truck theme
Okay.
and how it's present all over the F-150 Lightning, but it would also be kind of redundant because that's all over every F-150. You know, spray-in truck liner, how massive this thing is, all the measuring equipment on the side. But my favorite part is definitely how many power outlets this thing has and everything it can power, because it's essentially a giant battery bank. Probably the biggest battery bank you'll ever have. So the trunk has a whole bunch of 120 volt outlets. It has a 240 volt outlet. That's your power tools, your air compressor, whatever else you want it to be. But then the inside of the cab, you've got full-size outlets in there too, USB ports, wireless charging. The Frunk, like I said, also has power. But the best part of it is the truck can power your house if you wanted it to. So Ford sells an inverter, you put it in your garage, and you plug this thing in, and it can back up your house if it loses power for days at a time. Several times the size of a Tesla Powerwall. So that's pretty sick. I guess the point I'm...
That is pretty cool. Hopefully you aren't living... Yeah, hope you aren't living in a place where your house constantly loses power. But of course, given what happens in the summertime, you know, sometimes there are long spurts of power outages depending on where you're on the country. Same thing in the winter. Things do freeze over. Heck, when I was in Texas back in 2021 and the entire state almost lost, or pretty much the entire state lost power for a couple days. So yeah, it would have been nice to be able to just plug my truck into my house and power my house that way. But yeah, pretty cool.
Making is, even though I'm not in the market for an F-150 Lightning, I love this thing.
And you know, as I mentioned before, that is definitely one of those things that if you are a single family homeowner, then yes, that feature is pretty cool. But yeah, if you are not that, then it's just not something that you can do. Yeah.
Some new EVs are super different from the rest of the company's lineup, but as I keep saying, this one's basically the same, and that's on purpose. Of course, the similarity in parts makes for much easier, cheaper manufacturing, which, by the way, is already top-notch from the company that literally invented the assembly line. And the familiarity of the F-150 brand lends itself to people being more likely to give it a shot. But also, not only is this just another F-150, but it's the best F-150 ever made. The F-150 Lightning is more powerful than the most powerful gas F-150. It has more horsepower and more torque than the best gas F-150. It has a massive max towing capacity, the most covered cargo space, the most high-tech features. It has the least maintenance. It's the least expensive per mile to run and own. And by the way, it's the fastest, quietest, smoothest, and the easiest to drive, if any of that matters to you.
Yeah, that really compelling. Really compelling. I'm almost at a loss for words right now. But yeah, really compelling stuff. And of course, if you're able to take all of that performance and just put it in a sedan or a mid-size sedan or a compact sedan, I'd be all over that. Whenever I decide that I need to buy a new vehicle, or when I live a place where I am able to charge it myself. But yeah, definitely impressive things to say about this particular truck.
So it delivers. It delivers on the promise, and I can see it making a lot of the pre-order holders happy We even used a second F-150 Lightning to shoot this first F-150 Lightning. So it's already putting in work.
Hey, I was right. See, yeah, I'm actually kind of excited about that. When we were in that first scene, they were going through that warehouse garage parking lot, whatever it was, truck stop, and I was like, it'd be nice if they were shooting this on another F-150 Lightning, but who knows? But see, definitely because of the size of his platform, he is really able to not only get access to one F-150 Lightning, but two of them.
My only question going in was about range. You might have remembered some of the things left unclear from my impressions video. So this extended range version promised 300 miles. I lived with it for a week, and I found that real world use gets you a little bit below that, which is not surprising, about 280. But then there's even a sick feature that measures how much you're either hauling or towing with a built-in scale, and then adjusts your estimated range from there, which is a great idea for a truck, which will be towing and hauling all the time. So here we are. Ford's going to start shipping these. We'll see how fast they can ramp up manufacturing. And now it's up to the rest of the competition, the electric Ram, the electric Toyota Tundra, even the Cybertruck, the ones on the horizon. It's up to all of them.
All right, that Cybertruck is ugly. It is. I mean, I know it's not the conventional look of what a pickup truck is, but that thing is just hideous.
Catch up to this one. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
And yeah, I am impressed. I think I did watch his first impressions one a while ago. I don't remember how long ago it was. So I think I was somewhat basically familiar with what he was going to mention. But again, yeah, it's crucial, I think, that we do weighing ourselves off of gasoline. I mean, shoot, that might be one of many reasons why prices are so high right now, is they're just trying to squeeze as much money out of us as possible until their particular product isn't used as much. But yeah, all in all, good video. Would I buy a pickup? Would I buy an electric vehicle? Absolutely. Do I want to buy a pickup truck just because this electric one seems to be as good as it is? No. But again, for those who this is marketed towards, yeah, I think a lot of them will sell, and that could be a good thing for Ford. All right.